my gosh, I'm so excited about this video. Let me see what this video is about. We're going to teach everyone, all new signing agents and veteran signing agents, the most common mistakes signing agent makes and how they should avoid them and why they should avoid them. And by avoiding mistakes, how that actually grows your signing agent business. So this might be one of the best videos I've made to date. Let me introduce my guest today. This is Jennifer Glover. How are you doing, Jennifer?
Good, good. Thanks for having me.
You are so welcome. Now, Jennifer Glover is not only an owner of one of the largest signing services, Prestige Notaries out of the Pacific Northwest. Jennifer Glover is one of the most influential people in our signing agent industry. She is also the founder of Notary Dash. If you don't know what Notary Dash is yet, you will very soon. It is the up-and-coming signing agent platform. Think SnapDocs, think signingorder.com, and you're soon going to start hearing and seeing Notary Dash, which is being used by thousands of signing agents currently. And so not only does she own a signing service, she actually owns a platform that other signing services use to find signing agents. So there is nobody better in this industry to talk about signing agent errors, how to avoid them, and how they can actually grow your business. Are you excited about today's interview?
Yes, I am.
This is going to be awesome. And just to build a little bit more credibility for Jennifer, if owning a signing service and having a signing agent platform wasn't big enough, Jennifer is a highly sought out speaker in this industry. Not only does she speak at the Loan Signing System Conference, she also does workshops at the NNA conference. So any conferences in this industry, Jennifer Glover speaks at them. So she's highly sought out to teach people, whether it's the NNA conference or speak at my conference. Jennifer, it is an honor to have you on today. Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. So before we dive into the nitty-gritty of errors and how to avoid them and how it can actually benefit their business, I'm very proud to say that Jennifer, Prestige Notaries, one of the largest signing services in the entire country, actually looks for and prefers loan signing system students who have my certification.
Yes,
awesome.
We do.
Yes, I love it. I love it. And so actually Notary Dash, so if you're not on Notary Dash, get on Notary Dash. There's actually a search feature built into Notary Dash that signing services can look for loan signing system students. So it's really an honor. You know, I always try to partner up with the biggest and best signing services, and yours being the biggest and best, and having a signing agent platform just makes me feel so good about what I'm doing and should make the students of the loan signing system really excited, because Jennifer looks for loan signing system students every day to fill her orders, and she does thousands and thousands across the country. So thank you for recognizing the hard work that my students do and the hard effort I do in trying to make the industry better as a whole.
Absolutely.
So let's just dive right into this. So, you know, this whole video, this is probably me 45 minutes to an hour. This is gonna be really awesome. You know, what I want to talk about today, and getting it from an authority like you, and I also own a signing service, you know, is really understanding the most common mistakes signing agents make and how to avoid them. So we're gonna go through the very specific mistakes that you see commonly as a signing service owner. I'm going to go over those with you as well, what I see as common mistakes. But before we go into the specific mistakes signing agents make, I'd like to just have a conversation with another signing service owner on, you know, really teaching these signing agents out there how not making mistakes actually grows your business. But here's a crazy thought, is how being accountable for your mistakes actually leads to more business. You know, I think a lot of signing agents think the freak out moment of like, oh, I made a mistake, it's the end of the world. And I try to teach my students it's not the end of the world. It's how you react to the mistake that will determine whether you get business or not. And so it is a myth that if you make a mistake that you're not going to get business again. And let's talk through all of that, Jennifer. I'll let you take the floor and let's go from there.
Yeah, I always say it's not the error that the notary makes, it's how they handle that error. It's about handling it right away, you know, treating it like it's a priority. You know, if I call a notary and say, hey, you missed this signature, we need it today for funding, and the first thing out of the notary's mouth is, oh my gosh, I have 3 signings today, I don't know when I'm going to be able to take care of it. You know, that just kind of crushes my soul. I want the notary to say, okay, send it to me. I'm going to talk to them right now. I'm going to call them. I'm going to handle it. I'm going to take care of it. Because that's a signing you've already signed and should have completed. You need to complete it, right? You can't go on to your next signing until you complete the one that that error has occurred on. And I understand it's hard, right? You have 3 more signings. You don't want to disappoint those consumers and those title companies and signing services, but which is why it's so important to triple check your work so that you don't have those errors in the first place.
Yeah, as a signing service owner as well, I'll kind of piggyback on that. What I tell a lot of my students is, you're an extension of me and my business, right? I'm earning business from the escrow company, the title company, the lender, the real estate agent. So when you're out there fixing the mistake, then I can go back and tell my client that the mistake's happening in real time or being fixed in real time, excuse me. The point I'm trying to make, Jennifer, is that when the signing agent executes the mistake and fixes the mistake, that actually makes us look good, which helps us get more business that we can then ultimately feed the notary again. And I think a lot of signing agents don't understand that, when you make a mistake, then we have to deal with the client that we're servicing and trying to tell them like, oh, there's mistakes happening in real time. And then our clients give us more business because we're handling mistakes. Like we're going to give the notary more business because they're handling mistakes for us. And so it's really understanding the whole chain of the process of signing agent to signing service to escrow to the lender. And then we're just kind of the middleman back to our clients. And we're ultimately all in here trying to make money. We want to give more signings to the signing agents. But if they're not helping us, then we can't get more business to ultimately give them, right?
And it starts right from the lender to title to us, to the signing service to the notary, and it's all chain reaction back. So, what the notary does impacts the signing service. What the signing service does impacts the title company, and that then is impacted to the lender. So we want to make the title company happy so that the lender is happy, so that the lender continues to feed work into the title company. I have a client that sends about 150 signings to us every month. About 35% of their deals come from one lender. If we tick them off too much, that one lender, they lose a third of their business.
And which means that's less signings that we can give to signing agents.
Right.
And I think that signing agents have to understand, like, we want to give them business because we give them business. That means we're making money, right? We're all in this together. And I think that some signing agents don't understand that if the quicker that they fix the mistakes that they made, the better we look, and the better we look, the more business we get that we can ultimately give to the signing agents. I think some signing agents get frustrated, and we're like, look, we're all in this together trying to create a business that we can feed all of our families with, and them helping us helps them in return. And so I just kind of think sometimes they don't understand the back end, and I just want to kind of just say that out loud with another signing service owner on here. And let's talk about another aspect of the mistakes. What I always tell my students, please.
Well, and what I was going to say is when we say right away, for me, if it's something that just the notary has to handle, right away is like 15 minutes. If it's a corrected notarial certificate, jurat acknowledgement, misstamp, you should be able to print that, stamp it, scan it back. Even if you're not home, you should be able to go to Office Depot or Staples or Office Mac, print it out. You should have your stamp with you if it's during business hours. And scan it back either using their scanner or a scan app on your phone, upload it to Notary Dash or whatever system you're using, and they'll have it right away. If it's something that the borrower, the seller, or buyer needs to sign, it should, with us, you call them right away to set it up and make sure that the notary explains the urgency to the borrower. We need to get this done like in the next 2 hours. Right? Like it's not tonight. Unless the borrower says, I'm not available into this evening, then you let us know right away so that we can inform title, so that title can inform lender, because there may be a delay in funding, right? Like they may have to change numbers. So we really, communication is key and urgency is key.
Well, let's take them behind the scenes a little bit more, Jennifer, because I think if the signing agent really understood the back end, they might understand the importance of fixing errors. And once again, this interview is to help signing agents grow their business. And part of growing their business is making sure to get repeat business from the person signing service that they're working for. So with that being said, you own a platform, Notary Dash. So what I think some signing agents don't realize, again, if they don't fix the errors in real time, there is a review system that every signing agent platform, whether that is SnapDocs, Notary Dash, signingorder.com, there is a review system where the signing service will upload reviews such as, this notary did not fix the mistake in a timely fashion, which then means other signing services can see that feedback, which then means the notary may not get business because there were bad reviews left by the signing service. So what I'm trying to communicate is not fixing the errors really is a short-term business philosophy on the signing agent, because if you're not fixing it in a timely manner, the signing service will leave you remarks that other signing services can see, therefore causing a loss of business in the future, not only with the signing service that they're made the mistake on, but other signing services who read those reviews. Talk through that.
And not only do signing services leave reviews on Notary Dash, and I know other platforms like SnapDocs, I'm not familiar with too many of the other ones. The title company, the lender, and the consumer leaves reviews too, right? So if you have one misfortune where you don't treat it with the urgency or the importance that it deserves, then you may end up with 4 different bad reviews on your profile, one from the lender, the title company, the signing service, and the consumer. But on a flip side, if you handle that, you take our call, you call us right back, or you update and communicate and say, hey, I just got this, I spoke with the borrower, I'm heading there now, I'll have the scan back to you in the next 30 minutes, and you deliver that, you best believe the signing service is going to leave a review and say, communicated great, fixed error fast, we'll hire again, 5 stars, right? And we'll get reviews from the title company as well that say, took care of the correction, made it all right, borrower was happy. It's all about your interaction with the consumer and with us and communicating.
I love it. You beat me to the punch. I was going to say I wanted to give a positive spin, which you beat me to the positive spin. So if you do actually do it in a good manner, a timely manner, show importance, you're going to give a positive review, which every title company, when they look you up, can see. Every signing service, when they look you up, can see. And it's understanding, because so many times I get signing agents on my signing service over the years. We're like, oh, well, it doesn't matter if I lose you as a customer, client. You only give me 2 signings a month anyway, so whatever. And it's such short-term thinking, because they're not only losing the 2 signings that I may give them, they're going to, all these other signing services can see the review I'm about to leave them. So you're not losing my business, you're losing every other signing service out there who can see the bad remarks. But on the flip side, you can earn more business when I go, this notary was super attentive, this notary dropped what they're doing, this notary understood the importance of getting my document fixed in a timely fashion, they made FedEx, they went out of the way. Other signing services will read that, so you'll actually get more business. And that's what this interview is about. It's helping them understand that the errors they make or don't make can actually help grow their signing service business. That's why this is so awesome. 2 signing service owners, owner of a signing agent platform, going back and forth. And that's what I try to do, is bring a mass value to everybody. So I think those are some amazing points. Another point I'd like to hit on home before we jump to the specific errors is what I think a lot of signing agents don't understand is, we as signing service owners understand that there's going to be mistakes. We don't expect 100%. We would like it, but we know we're all human. Look, you may forget a stamp. We understand that you're doing 150 pages, but the point I'm trying to make is what's really important isn't the mistake. It's what's before that, which is triple checking your work, slowing down. All we want is due diligence. All we want is someone who's methodical. All we want is someone who's thorough. It's not this initial itself that we as signing services get frustrated that they missed. It is the signing agent who speeds through it to get the next 4 appointments. It's a signing agent who doesn't triple check their work. And so, I try to tell my students is, look, you're going to make mistakes. I get it. The best way to try to not have the situation is to be methodical and slow down. But we do understand that mistakes happen. All we want is accountability. All we want is a signing agent say, you know what, Jennifer, you know what, Mark, I get it. I'm sorry. What I hate is when a signing agent tries to defend what happened. I'm like, I get it. Like, you didn't mean to do it. Like, I understand. Like, literally, I empathize. Like, me and you were signing agents in the past. And so, like, we empathize. So we don't necessarily need the banter. It wasn't your fault. We just need, I get it. I'm sorry. How do I fix it?
Right. Right. And, with me, like I've done maybe over about 16,000 closings at this point in my career. And all that does is make me check my work more, because I am very confident that I know the documents. I am confident that I did not miss signatures and initials, and I do not want to get cocky. I do not want to get overconfident and just sign, sign, sign and leave. You know, I did 2 signings yesterday. Every single page that I go through, even the deed of trust. I don't flip through just 17 pages of the deed of trust. I check to make sure there's no initial lines in the middle of the page, not just the bottom of the page, right? I still make sure that I triple check my work before I leave, because the last thing I want to do is have a mistake and have to deal with it, right? Like I've shipped it off, I'm done with it. I want to be done and move on to the next and not impact my day. But you know, I would also encourage signing agents who do get really familiar with documents, don't ever get too confident. Still check your work.
Yeah, no, I love it. And the next segment, I think we'll kind of talk about some tips that we had, strategies we have. I mean, you know, so I'd like to end this, you know, the importance of making mistakes and how, you know, like I said, making a mistake isn't the end of the world. And in fact, if you're accountable to your mistakes, you might end up getting more business. That's the irony of it, right? So many signing agents like think it's the bottom of has fell out because they made a mistake. And I tell my students, and I'm trying to tell everybody right now who's watching this, it's never the mistake, it's how you handle the mistake that's going to dictate whether you get future business or more business or lose a client. You know, to kind of wrap up my thoughts on this, Jennifer, and I'll let you wrap up in a moment, is, you know, really understanding that it's short-term thinking. This is coming from me. I believe it is very short-term thinking for a signing agent not to drop what they're doing to fix an error because of the review system that every signing service has on the back end. And whether you're using SnapDocs or you're using Signing Order or whether you're using Notary Dash, there is a remark section where every signing service can create positive or negative remarks that can help you get more business or help you lose future business. And so I always tell my students the most important signing you ever have is the signing you're at or the signing you have done. And making sure that is flawless and make sure everything done is there to fund, that's going to get you more business. So anything you want to say to wrap up, you know, the importance of not missing signatures, dates, or initials, or making errors?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, and I've been saying it for years, it's not the error, it's how you respond to the error, how you handle it. And I'll continue to say that. You know, I've driven 4 hours to take a document to title that I missed a deed of, you know, that I missed a stamp on the deed of trust. And they gave me 3 signings while I was there. I made $450 because I made an error. And I got them for life. They're a client for life. So definitely, you know, we don't like to see errors, but we have solidified some great relationships with notaries because of how they responded to errors.
Love it. And I love the transparency, and I'll be just as transparent. You know, I've been in the business 16 years. You know, as you know, I've missed a stamp on a deed of trust. I've missed a sneaky initial on the second page of the loan application because page 1 didn't have initial, page 2. And so I am like you. I've made these errors. I'm not trying to say I'm perfect, but what I have done in my career, and I encourage every signing agent to do, is the moment you get called out for a mistake, it is drop what you're doing and fix it. It's going to get you more business, literally. So I'm super glad we had that conversation, Jennifer. I think we pretty much hammered home the importance of you know, how making a mistake isn't the end of the world, how it can actually get you more business, or how it can lose you a ton of business. And you know, and having an error is not the end of the world. So let's talk about some quick tips before we get into the most commonly made errors. So, you know, I'd like to this next segment of this conversation to be some tips that you have. And I know you kind of briefly went into it a little bit. I'd like to dive deeper into what tips you have. So I'll let you kind of start and then I'll chime in after you. So what are some tips that you could give to help a signing agent not make mistakes ideally?
So I still am a practicing signing agent. I do that because I love that part of my job. And also I do that because I like to stay current on my craft, right? Like I don't ever want to lose focus on the core, on like our core business. What I do is I print all the emails that I get from the signing service or the title company when it comes in. If that's the confirmation email or the document email, or you know, the email from title, I print everything and I treat those as all instruction sheets, whether it's 1 page or 17 pages. I glance through. I always look for something that says blue or black ink. because I have been in the middle of a signing and found a document in the middle of the documents in the middle of 150 pages that says use black ink only. If you use blue ink, you will not get paid for this assignment. And I'm halfway through the docs with blue ink, right? So sometimes instruction documents get printed out, you know, it's like the 4th of 7th files, and so it gets printed out in the middle. You need to look for that. I really hate a lot of, you know, pages and pages and pages of instructions. And some signing services have done that just to, you know, it's CYA, right? And sometimes those documents change and they don't tell you. So like for my service, we always put a date on the bottom of ours, like this was updated on such and such date, so that the signing services or the signing agents we regularly work with know to look at that new document. But you have to read all of your instructions. You have to, you know, if you're not prepping your documents before you go to a signing, and I don't prep my documents, honestly, I've never prepped my documents. I've never used sticky tabs or anything like that. I print and I go. The only thing I do is I flip through my documents before I leave my house. I flip through my documents to make sure there's no documents that are cut off, that no legal pages got printed to letter. And that there's no smudges or lines through the middle of the pages. Nothing worse than to do an entire signing because you got documents with lines down the middle and the title companies say, why did you do that? And you say, well, you sent them to me that way. But why wouldn't you let us know? These documents can't record and now I need you to re-sign. Now they're pissed at you because they have to pay for another signing fee. You did your job as contracted, but they don't see that as a professional job. You should have called them and told them that the documents were smudged. Anyways, quick tip. Quick tips. Look through all your instruction pages. Look through your documents before you leave your house. If you're not prepping, at least make sure nothing's cut off. Make sure you print according to PDF page size. Double check that your printer settings are accurate every single time you print. Some documents, some PDF files will actually change the printer settings because they have them hardcoded saved into the document. If you're not familiar, if you're not a techie person. And so it can actually change the printer settings on your computer and can mess up your next 10 signings before you even realize it. Every single page, expect that there is at least 2 signatures and 2 initial lines on every single page, and don't move to the next page until you're confident that there is not. Most signatures that are missed are the top half of the page. Most notary stamps that are missed are ones that are on borrower signature pages. And most initial lines that are missed are on signature pages. So always double check for those things. Deed of trust and notes for commercial or for subprime lenders, or like very small banks, like not your big bank guys. They often have initials in the middle of the documents. Commercial signings often have initials all throughout middle of the documents. So don't just look for those signature pages. You're going to miss a ton of initials. And then lastly, when I hand a document to the borrowers to sign and they hand it back to me, I look at it to make sure that it was signed, printed, or dated and initialed correctly. If there were any forms that need to be completed, I look to make sure that those were completed, and then I turn it over. We go through the whole signing. I do every single page like that. I turn it over. At the end, I tell them, can we just have 5 minutes? I'm going to double check and make sure that we didn't miss anything so that you don't have to see my face again. I always say it that way. Everybody laughs. I go through, I double check that there was nothing missed. And if it was a really, really, really busy day for me, right? If I was rushed, if I had more than a couple signings, then whenever I get home or to FedEx, I triple check and make sure that I didn't miss another signature, initial, or stamp. Because if I've been rushed, then whenever I get, you know, even at the end of that signing and I'm double checking, I know that I've been feeling rushed and I might still have felt rushed at the end of that signing. And so I might still have missed it. And so when I triple check it a third time, I go from the back to the front instead of front to back, because the documents are then out of order and I have a different view of what I'm looking at. And so it's easier to find missing things.
Well, first off, I think there was so much incredible information that if you're watching this, I'd actually hit rewind and watch it again. So you just dropped some serious knowledge. Once again, you just heard from a signing service owner who does thousands and thousands and thousands of closings every year for numerous years. So this is about as in-depth as it can get. You know, if you're watching this as a brand new signing agent, just know that I teach and train all this in the loan signing system. You know, so, you know, Jennifer went over a very high level view of what you should not miss. So I just wanted to make sure that some signing agents who are new watching this for the first time understand that, you know, my course goes over all this in fine detail, and everything she said I cover. I said I wanted to go over their heads or get overwhelmed with this because this is all taught. Now, with that being said, I'll put in my 2 cents because, you know, I own a signing service and I train thousands and thousands of signing agents. The biggest thing that I like to tell my students, and I want everyone to listen to me very closely on this, is your signing is not a race. I understand we all want to make as much money as quick as possible. I get it. But we're not paid. You're not going to get more signings because you did a signing in an hour versus taking 2 hours to do the signing. So whether you are a brand new signing agent or a veteran signing agent, it doesn't matter. This is not a race. So we just need to slow down. And everything Jennifer just told you, assume that every page has an initial, assume that every page has a signature. And I think that really comes to just slowing down and slowing the process down. As you become more refined and as you become more experienced, you'll find a system like you have or like I have. I teach the system. You know, you'll find that you can go through the signing more methodically. But in the beginning, or even when you're a veteran signing agent, this is not a race. And I think that's the biggest message that I want people to hear from me is you don't get more business. A signing service never gets the feedback, oh my gosh, the signing only took 30 minutes. You get the feedback of, oh my gosh, he was professional, she was thorough, there's no signatures missed, there was no dates missed. The lender will never give the signing service feedback like, I'm so happy that notary only took 30 minutes. The feedback to the lender, to the signing service, or to title is, wow, that notary didn't miss a thing. We had 0 funding issues. So I want a lot of signing agents to realize it's not a race. Slow down, take your time. You're not going to get more business because you did it in 30 minutes. In fact, the quicker the signing, the more chances are you're going to make errors, which means the less chance you're actually going to get more business. You can't grow a sustainable signing agent business if you're making errors. So it's not a race. Slow down, be methodical. If you're a loan signing system student, use the checklist that I provide. If it's one more step and it takes you 5 more minutes to reference the checklist with the docs, and so be it, because you're not getting paid more money because you took 5 less minutes with the borrower. Or like Jennifer said, you know, double check your work. You don't want to see my face again. Like, just triple check your work if you need to. So, you know, my biggest tip is to slow down, understand it's not a race. You know, look, at the end of the day, we get paid to watch people sign paperwork. It's the easiest job in the world. But if you aren't slowing down to make sure they're signing each piece of paper, then you're not going to be able to create a relationship with prestige notaries. You're going to get bad reviews in Notary Dash. You're not going to be able to work for my signing service. So, you know, I think, you know, my biggest piece of advice, Jennifer, maybe you agree with me, is, you know, just slow down, take your time. Don't think it's a race. The borrowers aren't going to be mad if the appointment took an hour and 20 minutes versus 50 minutes. But the borrowers will be upset if they got to stop what they're doing tomorrow to sign something because you wanted to get out of there quicker.
Yeah, I agree. Absolutely.
Did we miss anything? I think, you know, like those tips I think are unbelievable. You know, kind of recapping your tips, you know, and I teach all this in the loan signing system is always read the instructions. Like you said, they can be tedious, but they're in there for a reason. Every signing service has their list of instructions. So don't think that Prestige Notaries is exact as mine, exact signature closers, the same thing as Coast to Coast, the same thing as Sign on the X or Doc Pros or whatever. We all have our own different nuances and what we want. So always read those. I think that's a great piece of advice. And I think the fact that just slowing down, you're going to earn more business if you do the perfect signing. You don't earn more business because the signing took 30 minutes. And that's what I want to make sure everybody hears today. So to wrap up this segment, did we miss anything on any tips? Any last tips you want to give them?
Not that I can think of.
I think the biggest misnomer out there, Jennifer, and hopefully you can you agree with me because we haven't talked about this, but I think a lot of signing agents feel like if they call the signing service, it makes them look uneducated. It makes them look like they're not a good signing agent. And I know from my signing service and what I teach my signing agents, it's the opposite's true. When you call, I actually know you care. I want to work with a signing agent who cares more than I want to work with a signing agent who doesn't want to look uneducated. And I think it's actually opposite. I actually believe you are more educated if you are educated enough to actually pick up the phone and call with anything that you don't understand. So, like I said, I try to teach my students is like when you call, it actually makes you look smarter, not dumber. What do you have to say about that?
No, absolutely. I mean, I work with all sorts of signing agents from new to, somewhat seasoned to very seasoned. And the only thing I care about is how you are treating my assignment. If you're treating it like a profession, if you want it to be done right, if you're paying attention to my instructions. I love when someone calls me and says, your instruction says this, but title instruction says that. Yes, like
Yes.
call me with questions. I have multiple places in our system, like the confirmation email and our expectations document, where all of my schedulers and my phone numbers are listed for you to call or text. It has the hours that they work. You have me 24/7. And so, and like Mark said, like you said, it just shows us that they care. Now, if you're newer and you're going through a package, we've sent you documents a day ahead of time or hours before a signing so that you can prepare because you're a newer signing agent. Then, go through the whole package and tab where your questions are. Make a list of your questions and then text like text me or Carrie and say, hey, I have like 7 questions. Do you have maybe 20 minutes or 15 minutes for me to call and talk to you? I'll say, hey, I'm in the middle of something right now. Call me in 30 minutes, right? Like, I appreciate when someone says, I have enough questions. I'm going to need 15 minutes of your time, instead of calling me 7 different times over the hour, right? I would rather you put your questions. But if you're going through and you think you've asked all your questions and now you have 6 more questions, ask those 6 questions. I would rather you ask the questions now than make a wrong assumption or not get it right, and we have to deal with an error later. I had to make a very, very, to give a small short story, I had a brand new signing agent that was LSS certified about 2.5 weeks ago in a somewhat rural area for a reverse mortgage. And we just could not find anyone other than we had 5 brand new signing agents that were willing to go to this area during this time. I went back to my title client and I told him, hey, this is a reverse mortgage. The last thing I wanted to do was to send a brand new signing agent on a reverse mortgage signing because they're tedious, they're hard, they're long. I don't like reverse mortgages, much less than someone brand new to do it. But I had 5 signing agents to choose from. We called all 5 of them. One was LSS certified, and that one was the only one that I felt was prepared and had what it took to actually go and do that signing. He had documents the day before. Him and I spent about 45 minutes on the phone going over the most common notary errors and his questions. He called me, I think, 4 or 5 times during the signing. He called me after the signing to make sure that he completed 2 documents correctly. The package got back to title perfect. There was not one error. And the loan officer emailed title and told the title company that the signing agent was gracious and patient with his 2 elderly clients and asked if he could do all of his going forward.
That makes me so happy for so many reasons, and thank you for sharing that. I'm literally like in awe of where the story is going. And like I said, I think what I really love about the story is, not only that you're looking for LSS students, but the notary asked you questions and you didn't care. And because all we want as a signing service is to make sure that everything's done correctly the first time. And that's what I teach my students is go call. That's what they want. I don't care if you've done 500 closings. If you've done 500 closing, it doesn't make it look like you're not doing what you're supposed to do if you make a phone call. And so my brand new signing agents, you know, and even my veteran signing agents, you know, whether it's Laura or Robin, they know, just pick up the phone. Let's have a conversation, because let's do it right the first time. So thank you for sharing that story. I'm very proud that my students are listening to me and calling up signing service owners and letting them know, like, look, I have a couple questions, let's get through it. And I appreciate you also saying that, you know, you as a brand new signing agent, if the signing agent understands it, they can pick up the phone, and no one's going to think down, and you didn't think down of them. Now my student's going to get a ton of business from you. And I love how you picked an LSO certified signing agent over the other 5 who weren't. And the LSO certification, I'm very proud of. And so thank you. Yeah, you know, just to kind of piggyback on what you said, you know, I think, you know, to end this part of the conversation is, you know, phone calls aren't bad. It's actually better. And once again, it's this weird thought process people have, like, oh, I look like I'm uneducated, and it's not true. So pick up the phone. Thank you for sharing that story. And thank you for letting people know that, you know, for my signing service, I get excited when I hear from a signing agent 3 times. Literally, I'm like, thank you for caring, because
Right.
you care.
Yeah, and like you said, I don't think it makes you look uneducated. I think it makes the signing agent look as though they understand the importance behind these documents. I mean, you have to realize this transaction that is in front of you is most likely one of the absolute largest, you know, financial decisions that that consumer is signing with you. And so give it the level of importance that it deserves.
I love that saying. I'm going to end with that. They understand the importance of the documents, and that's right. And that's what I try to teach my students, and hopefully everybody watching this today, whether you're my student or not, the importance of those documents. Like I said, the most important signing you're ever going to have is the signing you are at. It's not the signings you haven't done. In fact, it's not even the signings that you need to get to. It's a signing that you're currently at, and that's the most important one, because the most important one, it can feed you more business, or it can prevent you from getting more business. Remember, signing services have a review platform like Yelp. If you get bad reviews, that's no good. Okay, so another amazing segment. So this next segment is going to be just as awesome. So I know on my screen I have some of the most commonly made errors. I think on your screen you have some most commonly made errors. So let's just kind of go line by line here and give as much information on some of the most commonly made errors. You know, we could probably be here for 3 hours if we're going to talk about every error every signing agent ever made. But let's just kind of go over the most commonly missed ones. You know, if somebody wants an in-depth review of every error, just take the loan signing system. But let's just go over the most commonly made error that you think in your years of owning a signing agent database and signing service. I'll let you start. Shoot.
So for, let's see, the most common errors: missed signatures, initials, stamps, incomplete notary certificates, where the notary will stamp it and fill it out but forget to sign it. Sometimes I think that's notaries that are prepping for signings, and they, you know, they do like a bunch of work before they go to the signing. Then when they get to the signing, they forget to sign the actual document.
Let's talk about that, because I think it's a great point. I don't want to break your train of thought, but you know, some of these I think is important enough to like kind of talk through together as 2 signing service owners. You know, I think the first thing is, and maybe you're going to get to this, but since we're talking about the notary verbiage, is, you know, knowing your state laws. You know, it really is the importance of, and the onus and responsibility and accountability falls on each notary signing agent to know their state laws. You know, whether you take a signing agent training course or you don't, it's not the training course's responsibility, or it's your responsibility. And so knowing how to fill out these forms, because I'm going to piggyback on that. Sometimes I get signing agents who don't even know how to fill out their state's forms. And at that point, I have to be like, look, I recommend some notary training. You know, notary trainers out there, I'm not the only one. So is it really our responsibility to teach notary training? Like, that falls on you. There's a lot of great courses out there, the NNA, the ASN, the AAN. I think there's even notaryclasses.com. There's a lot of great courses out there for notary training. And so if you don't know your notary laws, I think me and you both want to say right now, like, know your laws. And it's your responsibility to know your laws. It's not the NNA's. It's not the AAN. It's not loan signing system. It is your responsibility. So know your state law is very important. And there's a lot of great classes and training people who teach notary law, not the signing agent, but the notary section part of this business. So, because I know there's some states out there that don't require any notary training. Off the top of my head, I think Arizona is just an application. Off the top of my head, I think
Washington.
Washington, thank you. Okay, Washington, not Texas. I think Texas requires one. But anyways, so those states who don't require it, like it would behoove you to take some type of notary training because it falls on you, the notary public, to know those. And so I want to touch on that, Lucy. Do you have anything to add to that?
Well, you know, being a notary, you're a commissioned officer to the government, right? To your state. It's you have signed and you have taken an oath that you understand your state laws. Most states have a notary handbook that you can find online. And you know, or you can just read your you know, RCWs or whatever the code is, or you know, the administrative code and the legislation for your state, right? So I often, you know, speak to notaries that don't understand the difference between a jurat and an acknowledgement. And I'll even say title companies are even worse at not knowing the difference between a jurat and an acknowledgement. So anytime title company asks you for a jurat, you should confirm with them if they need a jurat or an acknowledgement, because they will often ask for a jurat and they need an acknowledgement. And you as a notary, if you understand your notary laws and when the different certificates are used, then you would be able to, you know, to explain that to your title company, or even your signing service that doesn't know the difference, right? There's many signing services that don't know their notary laws.
And I think like that, but the responsibility, in my opinion, and even as a trainer who trains thousands of signing agents, right? You're a notary, like you said, you're a commissioned notary of your state. So make sure that you know your state laws. And if you need extra training, take it. Once again, it doesn't make you look uneducated. Just take a little quick class, or read the notary handbook that your state provides, you know, because there's no way that a signing service or a would know all 50 state laws, right? So some people call me up and they're in Virginia, like, well, how do I fill out the acknowledgement? I'm like, I don't know Virginia laws, right? So let that fall on you. And I think hopefully if there's anything you take from this conversation that Jennifer and I are having, is just the importance of knowing your state laws and taking the accountability of knowing it and not relying on anyone else but you to know your state laws. Because remember, we are notary signing agents. So before the signing agents, you're a notary public first and foremost, and taking the responsibility of your notary laws is great, because the signing agent training course, you know, doesn't necessarily know all 50 state laws. Like, that's not my lane. I don't know Virginia notary law or Florida, and I would never want to even get into that. I want a pro in Florida to teach you Florida stuff. So there's a certain level of skill, that knowledge you should have going into being a signing agent, which I think I just want to discuss with another signing service owner.
Yeah, no, and I push you know, notary training as well. You know, we can't teach notary training, or I can't teach notary training in all 50 states. But I can definitely push and push and push. And I prefer to work with even a brand new signing agent who knows their notary law, you know, is 10 steps ahead of the rest, because there's a lot of signing agents out there that don't know their notary law. And it's really important. I mean, you know, I have a background in law. I was a paralegal. I used to work for the Attorney General. And, you know, you can lose your commission by not completing a certificate correctly. I would hate for, you know, you to spend all this time and effort and energy learning, you know, loan signing system and your NNA certification and learning how to be just a great signing agent, to not also learn your notary law, and for something so, you know, so simple and not that time consuming, to then, you know, end up getting suspended for a year or something like that.
Let's swing it back to being a signing agent, right? I mean, an incomplete notary form, because you don't know how to fill it out, will cause a mistake, which will slow up the funding. So, you know, making it full circle here is, if you want more business, fill out your notary attachments and jurats appropriately according to your state law, so you don't get any of those funding issues, so you don't make mistakes. You don't have to go run back out there and get something redone. Because I know in California, if you don't fill out a notary acknowledgement or jurat, I don't know the laws in Washington, you just can't fill out the one that you made a mistake on. You have to go back out, re-acknowledge, revisit the person. So you have to then stop what you're doing, go back out, re-get the sworn oath, re-fill out the acknowledgement with a new thumbprint and line item in your journal. So that, once again, swinging it back to being a signing agent, if you want to earn more money, knowing your notary laws is going to make you great on the 4 or 5 pieces of paper that you need to notarize, so those aren't causing errors, which me and you as signing service owners don't want. and as a signing agent, you want more business. So knowing your laws will equal more money, which is ultimately what we're trying to teach people in this video is, we don't want to scare you that you're going to lose your commission. I want to encourage you that you can make more money by knowing your notary laws so you can fill out forms correctly, acknowledgement, jurats, etc., so you can get more business. And that's what this video is about. So knowing how to fill you properly, not missing those are also important, very important. Now, like you said, some notaries pre-fill those out. I know in California, you're not supposed to do that. I know in a lot of states you aren't. So just try to stick with your state laws. Don't miss your acknowledgement. I have a system in the loan signing system on how to never miss your notary acknowledgements and jurats. So just make sure you create your own system if you're not taking my course. So make sure you create a system that will work for you so you don't miss them, because missing a stamp will cause an error and you have to go run back out there and get them. So I thought that was a great conversation, Jennifer. Let's jump to another commonly made error that you believe signing agents make.
The missed signatures on the 1003, the Uniform Residential Loan Application, the missed initials on those, and the missed signature on the addendum to the Uniform Residential Loan Application, which has 2 signature spots on page 2. And then the direct endorsement, which usually follows that on page 2. So those, those are common missed signatures. The top of page 1 of the loan application, I would say when a notary misses that signature, the title company and the signing service, their first thought is new signing agents.
That's
because
right.
Every new signing agent who has not been prepared or not trained appropriately has missed that signature. It's way there at the top. But experience, once you've gotten through a couple of signing, loan signings, then you just don't make that mistake anymore. You always know to look for that signature.
Well, the funny part is, Jennifer, I'm hearing you talk and kind of going back to our previous conversation, when a signing agent misses a signature, date, or initial, that really, in my opinion, comes to them going too quickly or not being thorough. Right? I mean, before you hand a piece of paper to the borrower, just be patient, look where you're supposed to look, So, I think that, if you're a brand new signing agent, you need to take a course so you know where to look and how to look. But if you're a current signing agent and you're making these mistakes, it really just comes down to speed and slowing down. So, whenever I get an error, from a missed signature, usually that signifies to me as an owner of a signing service that they're just going too quick. And if you're a beginning signing agent, it's because you haven't taken a course that's going to show you where to look for. Because once you've taken that course and you know what to look for, then once again, it comes down to speed, and it comes down to just being thorough and not being in a race. A lot of signing agents miss that top signature on the 1003, which I point out in the course as well. And if they miss it, it's because they're just going too quick. Slow down. And I'm trying to bring this back to our previous conversation. It's slow down. It's not a race. Look for the signature. The tip that we gave earlier is if you assume every page has an initial, every page has a signature, every page has a date, if that's the assumption you go into it, then you should just slow down and look at every page to make sure there is not a signature line, a date line, an initial line. So, for veteran signing agents missing those, it usually just comes down to speed, going too quick. And for a beginning signing agent, it just goes down to making sure you're getting the right education, whether it's through my course or another course. And then once you know what to look for, where to look for, then again, it just comes down to speed. So it is just slowing down, learning a system that works for you, and not being too quick. Because to me, Jennifer, a missed initial just means you're going too fast. It's just slow down. It's not a race. And so I think if there's anything that I can kind of have a constant theme in this interview, it's not a race. Be patient with yourself. The borrower across the table just wants no missed signatures. They don't want to get out of there any quicker. Right. So, but like I said, I agree with what you said. I just want to kind of make a back end of that. It's just kind of slow down, take a course, don't be in a hurry. Most important signing. Okay. So moving on, anything else that you think, I'm kind of looking at my sheet up here. If people see me looking at those. I'm looking at my sheet.
Corrections made without approval. And this is all sorts of signing agents might make this error, whether you're new or not. But corrections made without approval: never change dates, never correct addresses, never correct names, never correct the loan application. How much they make or how many years they've worked somewhere. Never make any corrections except the corrections you're allowed to make on your notary certificate and on the right to cancel form, unless you have gotten specific instructions that the right to cancel form does not need to be changed, right? So the only documents you can make corrections to as a signing agent are your notary certificate. Okay, so it's very important. You own that document. As a notary public, that is your document. It is out, it is in addition to your signing agent work, all right? You need to make sure that you understand your notary law, that it is the correct form for your state.
What you're trying to say is that, make sure you understand how to correct your notary acknowledgement or jurat if it needs to be changed. I think what you're trying to say is, you are allowed to change anything that's on a notary verbiage you're responsible to fill out. Number two, any changes to notice right to cancel. I think what you hit on is important, and that is, you make sure you understand how to fill out a notice right to cancel. If you're a veteran signing agent, just understand that, don't be too quick not to miss your notice right to cancel. If you're a brand new signing agent, take a course. I don't want this to be a huge loan signing system commercial. Just take a course that will teach you how to properly fill out notice right to cancel. But what I think Jennifer is saying as an owner of a signing service is, any corrections outside of the notice right to cancel, any corrections outside of your notary verbiage, acknowledgement, jurat, etc., you got to make sure you get title's opinion. I call those super notaries in my course. Is don't be a super notary. If any corrections need to go upstream, never your call to make. I just want to kind of wrap up this topic with the only corrections you should be making is notary verbiage corrections or notice right to cancel corrections. Same page on that? Okay, cool. I'll kind of jump in with a couple. We kind of go back and forth on these. I think for my signing service and in my experience, probably one of the most common mistakes is not printing according to PDF size. I know you talked about that earlier, but since we're in the most common mistakes section of this conversation, always make sure that you're printing docs on legal and letter. Once again, this isn't supposed to be a training. Take a training course if you want to learn how to use your printer settings correctly. But what I wanted to say in this video is one of the most common mistakes is printing not on papers. If they're supposed to be printed on legal, they're printed on letter. If they're not supposed to be printed on letter, it's supposed to be printed on legal. So for my signing service, not printing according to PDF size is a huge problem that could be solved if you just know how to use your printer, or it can be solved if you took a course out there that will teach you how to do it. So that's a huge problem for me. I mean, would you say not printing according to PDF size would be a problem for your service as well?
Yes, and it has also been the most costly errors. Printing legal on letter docs and not even shrinking the docs, but cutting 3 inches of the documents off. So always print letter to letter, always print legal to legal. Have a dual tray laser printer. If you're, again, treat this like a profession, go out and buy a $300 dual tray laser printer. If all else fails and you're having some major problems, never shrink to fit unless you get permission from the title company or the signing service. If all else fails, print everything on legal, because someone can take, scissors and cut off the extra 3 inches. Again, someone's going to have to spend time, cutting off those pages. And there are title companies that still have those slicers in their office because they get a lot of documents back. But you want to stand out. You don't want to stand out because they know you're the one that always sends everything back all legal. You want to stand out because you don't cost everyone extra time, right? I would say other errors are not completing forms, disbursement forms, because the borrower is bringing funds to close. That's not your decision to make. They might end up having paid overage and still need a refund. Now they're going to have to fill out that form again. The Patriot Act form, identity verification forms, the state specific forms like California's form. Notary, one of the most common new notary errors is applying your notary stamp on something that doesn't need a notary stamp, right?
Stop you there. That is really understanding your notary laws.
Right. If you understand your notary laws, you're not going to make these errors. So understand your notary laws. Scan backs. This is a common error is we get scans back and legal docs were scanned all letter. it's pointless. You might as well have just not scanned them at all, right?
That's, I think another way of saying that is making sure your scanning settings, just like your printer settings, are set to scan legal and letter. I think some people have these mobile scanners and don't realize these mobile scanners are only scanning letter size papers. So make sure that you, if you get a mobile scanner, if you have an in-home, in-office scanner, that they're, once again, just like your printing settings, there's scan settings to make sure they read legal and letter. Because like you said, I'll get a ton of scans in, which I super appreciate, but then the legals are just coming over in scan size, letter size, and that's just because they haven't set up their scanner appropriately. So, that's so funny. The more
as a signing service, you're thinking, oh my gosh, I hope they didn't print all letter. I hope they at least printed legal.
And I know it's so funny. The more I'm talking out loud with you, and I think this is an amazing conversation. I think this might be one of the best pieces of content that I've created. Is a lot of these errors, it's just really slowing down. And like you said, like literally, like you get a scanner, you should like read the instructions. Like you're a real business. Like when you get a new printer, like jump on YouTube and how do I set up my printer? I think a lot of people just kind of are kind of winging it and like not reading the instruction manuals, or when they're getting a signing, not reading the instructions from the signing service very carefully. So a lot of this, when I'm talking to you right now, it's like, it almost becomes more abundantly clear when I'm talking to another signing service owner that, I think maybe the biggest problem signing agents have, new or veteran, is just slowing down and reading everything, reading all the instructions, which like reading the instructions to your printer, reading the instructions of the signing service. So it's like just slowing down and realizing this is not a race. And I think understanding that, because a lot of these that we're going over right now, it's like really clicking in my head is like, just slow down, read instructions, whether it's your printer instructions or your scanner instructions or the signing service or the instructions on the top of the 1003 that says sign here. So a lot of these, it's just really slowing down, and I think veterans get caught up in like almost just becomes too easy and they get an autopilot, and new signing agents just get overwhelmed with when they shouldn't. It's just read, just like slow down, read what the thing's saying. Once you have the training behind you, it just comes down to like slowing down and understanding every single part. And I think you said it best. It's like, be a professional, right? Like learn every aspect, and learning how to use your printer is part of being a professional. Learning how to use your scanner is part of being a professional. I love how you said that. So, I will try to put a link to some commonly made mistakes on the YouTube video so people can kind of see what we've created, that you've created, I've created for our students. I think scans are a big deal. I'd like to jump in with another commonly made mistake, and that's missing FedEx cutoff times.
That was going to be my next one. Well, and to go with the scans is missing a scanning deadline. Just because you need to always ask, when do they need scans back? If that signing is during the day, they might be expecting those scan backs right after the signing. We have a lot of same day, same funds that are funding off scans. If that signing's at 9:30 in the morning and we don't get scan backs till 2 o'clock, you better believe title is ticked off. They were expecting those scans back that day by noon. That's why they scheduled it in the morning. They missed a funding deadline. Now all the numbers are wrong. They might have to re-sign at this point, right? And then shipping deadlines. Even if the signing's at 3 o'clock in the afternoon and sometimes even 4 o'clock in the afternoon, title might be expecting you to make that same day FedEx deadline or UPS deadline. You need to always verify, with your title company or the signing service, if you can't make a shipping deadline because of either scan backs or because of what time the appointment is, say, sure, I can do this signing at 3, but you're aware my FedEx deadline's at 4, I'm not going to be able to get there. Or yeah, I can do these scan backs for you, but you do realize I won't be able to ship them. Would you prefer that I ship or scan? Or would you like me to do the signing earlier so that I can do both? Communicate. And for me, I say always get a shipping receipt. Do not drop in a box. Do not drop off a FedEx package at the counter and just expect them, for it to be taken care of and don't get a receipt. Again, I run a signing service. I preach this all day long. I did 3 signings in August, and I took them to my regular FedEx place, and the line was long, and I had a signing to go to, and I took them up to the counter, and I left them with the gal that always gives me the receipt. And 3 days later, no one had docs back. And I go up to FedEx and ask them, and they are still sitting in a box because their FedEx driver, they had a new FedEx driver, and the FedEx driver didn't realize that this specific FedEx location had 3 different boxes for him to collect from. And guess whose fault that was? It was mine, because I had no proof that I had shipped docs. Title does not care what explanation I give them. The signing service does not care what explanation I give them. They're not going to spend the time to call FedEx and to get my story straight. All they know is I did not get a receipt, and I could be lying for all they know. So always, always, always get a receipt. That is a CYA for you, period.
I love that. I love the receipt. You know, what I will say to the other two, and like I said, I still want to hammer home this point, and that's that just read the instructions. The instructions will tell you when scanning deadlines are. The signing service instructions will tell you when they want you to make FedEx. And so it really kind of boils back down to it. And here's what I'm hoping good signing agents are really feeling right now. And this is what I'm hoping, you know, new people coming into the industry is like what Jennifer and I are telling you. There are so many current signing agents who make these mistakes that if you don't make these mistakes and you just read the instructions, if you're like, Mark, all I do is read, I pay attention to detail, you should be excited because there's so much business for you, right? And so, you know, I kind of want to wrap up this amazing interview with this, Jennifer, and that's trying to inspire a new set of notaries and inspire veteran signing agent notaries and inspire anybody watching this video that, you know, there are so many common mistakes we have to make a video about it. That if you're a signing agent who doesn't make these mistakes, if you're a signing agent who holds yourself accountable, you should be foaming at the mouth that this industry is for you. It's for you to make a ton of money. It's for you to help a lot of people. It's to help your family. Because if you are watching this video saying, Mark, this makes too much common sense, like, of course I would read. Of course I would fix my errors. Of course I would take accountability. Understand signing agents like that are actually at a shortage. What would you say to something like that?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'll just say I had one of my schedulers reach out to me yesterday and asked me if she could assign a newer notary to one of our clients that has very, very, very strict guidelines, right? Has minimum requirements, always has the worst notary errors, and we just handhold and treat her like a VIP. And I said, I wasn't familiar with this notary's name. And she goes, well, you know, she did 27 signings for us last month. And I'm like, so I go in and I look, this notary signing agent is brand new to the business in August. Okay. She did 27 signings for us in October. She did 3 for us in September. We were her second signing. And I don't know her name because she hasn't made one error. She hasn't missed one shipping deadline, one scan back deadline. I mean, and she has a 5-star rating on our platform, you know, so I had to call and talk to her. All right. She is beyond educated. She has taken every course out there. She's brand new to the industry and she's treating it like a profession. And I absolutely wish that every single signing agent that came into this business would be just like her.
I love it. No, I mean, and I think, you know, I hope, like I said, I hope there's signing agents right now who are like so excited, like, Mark, Jennifer, I am the person you're speaking to. I don't miss any detail because that's all this business is. You know, if you can read instructions and you can actually not get too comfortable and just read and be thorough, like you said, this lady you've never know of is doing 20. Oh, let's do the simple math. She probably did $2,500 from your company, and that's just your company. We don't know, and we don't know how many other signing services she's working for, where they also have the same reviews you just had of her. So the point I'm trying to make, and I hope that people are getting really excited, is if you just be patient, be thorough, read the documents, not be in a hurry, you can make a lot of money in this industry. So, you know, we speak here and, you know, we're talking about errors and how they're so common, but I want the other side to be talked about at the end of this interview. Is if you're one of those notaries or someone new to the business or looking at this business from the outside, like, man, attention to detail is my middle name, then this is the industry for you. If you're a veteran signing agent, stop taking everything for granted. Be a little more thorough. If you're a brand new signing agent, slow down. It's not a race. If you're not ready for your first signing, just don't take your first signing until you're ready. Keep going through whatever training is you're going through. Keep going through that training. But when you're ready, you'll know when you're ready, and there's a ton of business out there. I know, Jennifer, literally, and I'm speaking for you, and I don't want to. How about I'll say this is for me. I know that I want to give a ton of business to the notaries who don't make mistakes. Like, I will sometimes go out of my way and hold an appointment because you tell me you have a 4 o'clock. You know what? I'm going to see if the borrower is available at 6 because you're so good that I'll move appointments for you. That's how valuable a good signing agent is. So I ask you, Jennifer, how valuable is a signing agent that doesn't make signatures to prestige notaries? Well, how would you answer that?
Well, I mean, just like you did, Mark, we have our vetting guidelines, we have our notary hiring guidelines, and a preferred signing agent is someone that stands out and doesn't make errors or follows instructions. And if they do make limited errors, then they handle them, right away. And whenever we're looking to hire notaries, if they are a favorited notary, a preferred notary, and we don't have any other preferred notaries available, we could have 5 different notaries responding available for that 4 o'clock. But if that preferred notary says 6:30, our standards is we message title and say we have 5 notaries available for 4 o'clock. However, we have a preferred notary available at 6:30. Would you like for us to change the appointment to 6:30? We give them the option to go with the preferred notary, because that's where we have the experience with that notary, we have a relationship with that notary, and we can, we're betting our business, like Prestige is betting our business, our entire business on that one appointment. Every single appointment matters, right? That title company is betting their entire book of business on that one notary. And I don't think sometimes notaries understand how important you truly are. Don't let it go to your head though, but you really are important. To every single transaction matters.
I love it. And I think let's kind of end with that. I mean, signing agents are an integral piece of this entire transaction. And when you start understanding how important you are, I think maybe that'll make you more of a professional. And once you realize you're more of a professional, you're gonna be like, wow, I'm busier than I ever thought I could be. And it just comes back because you care. And not to say that other signing agents don't care, but I do believe that signing agents just get too comfortable. And we all do, complacency is one of the biggest problems we have just as humans. And so just stop being as complacent. If you're a brand new signing agent, just remember, slow down, focus. Don't take your first assignment until you're really ready. And if you need to go through the training, whatever training course that is you're taking, just be patient with yourself, keep going for it. And once you're ready for that first appointment, you'll know. And when you get it, just use the checklist if you're an LSS student or whatever program you use. And just remember, it's not a race. And signing services like mine, signing services like Jennifer, we will be eager to hire you. We just want to hire people who care about what they do, who care about our clients like they're their own clients, who care about us, care about lender. And there is a fortune made in this amazing little tiny niche in the real estate industry. And I personally want every single signing agent to succeed. That's why I teach a loan signing system. I know they can help their families. And I think I'll kind of end with this, Jennifer. I teach signing agents and I have a signing service. And on both sides of my business, I care about the signing agent. I think you do too. And I think that's what gets lost sometimes. I think sometimes people think these signing services are just these greedy people who want to make money, where I want to help every signing agent. As long as you're helping my business grow, I'm going to help your business grow.
Absolutely. I love working with new signing agents. I've given countless notaries my phone number. Call me, text me anytime to ask me questions. I love to share my experience. I love to share my marketing experience, which signing services to sign up with and which ones to not sign up with, which registries to sign up with, which Facebook groups to participate in, where to focus your marketing. I love the signing agent work, the loan signings, the real estate closings, but I love general notary work. And I love to help, signing agents really grow their business and treat this as a profession. I have a lot of respect for our industry. I have a lot of respect for the law and the notary law, and I love learning and I love education. And so, I'll just stick with that. Know your notary law, get educated. I don't ever feel like you can be over educated. You know, and share, and maybe one day you can mentor other notary signing agents too, and really share your passion for this industry. I know that we're not saving lives, but you know, we often get to change lives. We often get to, you know, to sit down with people that are having a rough day and bring some light into their world, and save them the extra trip of having to take a day off from work and sign with them 8, 9, 10 o'clock at night when their kids are, you know, gone to sleep, and make it a relaxing, non-stressful, you know, presentation of documents and signing, and make sure that they understand that what they're signing. You know, it's a huge transaction. If it's a loan signing, it's a huge transaction, and just give it the importance and respect that it deserves.
Love it. You know, so kind of conclusion. If you haven't signed up with Notary Dash, sign up with Notary Dash, notarydash.com. I think there's a sign up for new signing agents. Once again, you know, Prestige Notaries does give preference to loan signing system students. So if you're not a loan signing system student, please click the link below. Notary Dash has a filter, so you know, title companies can start searching for loan signing system students. I'm really excited about the future of Notary Dash. Jennifer, I just want to say, you know, over the years we've become friends, and so I'm just very honored to be a colleague and friend of yours in this amazing industry. And I think that we will continue to help signing agents change their families' lives, because I know me and you are always about empowering other people to help change whatever it is that they want to change in their life. And this industry is phenomenal, because I don't know where you can make more money doing less work than being a signing agent. This video is all about just pay attention to detail, slow down, know your notary laws, read your instructions, take a good training course, whatever training course that may be. So, and I'll end with this. I mean, like I said, Jennifer has an extreme wealth of knowledge as far as marketing is concerned. You know, she did speak at my conference a couple of years ago about teaching signing agents how to market to signing services to get more business. So if you want to hear that, there'll be a link down to that below, because Jennifer dropped some amazing knowledge, but this was all about trying to help signing agents create less errors. So once again, thank you so much, Jennifer. I think we crushed today, and I think we helped some signing agents. So thank you so much.
Thank you for having me, Mark.
Bye, Jennifer.
Bye.